Hello everyone, this is Modals Part 1, Can and Could. And in this video, we're going to look at 3 ways that can and could are used to express things like number 1, ability, number 2, possibility, and number 3, polite expressions. Okay, these are some of the most common ways that we use can and could. So first, let's look at ability. Now, when I say ability, I'm referring to being able to do something. And you can see this with this first example with can. I can swim. This means that I am able to swim. All right, and this happens to be in the present tense. And another example like this is she can speak 5 languages. Again, can is expressing the ability that this person has to speak 5 languages. And here is really where we see the difference between can and could when we're talking about ability. Because if you look at the next example, I could swim when I was 4 years old. Here, we're talking about a past event, being able to swim when this person was, or I was 4 years old. And in the next example, she could speak 5 languages. This is implying that she could speak 5 languages in the past. And also that she can't speak 5 languages now. Next, I'm going to look at possibility. And with can and could, we usually use could. Okay, and you'll see in my examples, I've used them in the present, past, and future tenses. So let's look at the first one here. It's she could be the owner of that house. So could be, the owner is the possible owner, and it's in the present tense. In the next example, she could have gotten an A on her test if she had studied harder. In this case, she has already taken the test. It's a past event. And it's possible that she could have gotten a higher score if she studied harder. And in the next example, we could get snow tonight. Here we are referring to the future, tonight. So could is used here, and we're talking about the possibility of getting snow. Is there a situation where I can use can to show possibility? Well, yes, there is. Can is usually used to show possibility in general statements. And a general statement like these 2 statements are basically opinions. So let's look at the first example. Anyone can become rich if they work hard. So it's possible that anyone can become rich if they work hard. We use can. And in the next one, learning Japanese can be difficult for many people. All right, so we're talking about how possibly learning Japanese can be difficult for many people. All right, now let's look at polite expressions. We're going to look at 4 situations. The first is making suggestions. The next one will be making requests. Then we'll do making offers, and then we're going to do asking permission. There are many polite expressions, and this is good for you guys to know because these are very, very handy to use if you're in the United States or if you're traveling somewhere where there's English spoken. So let's do making suggestions first. As you can see here, could is almost always used when we make suggestions. So let's talk about the situation in the first one. Let's say your friend knows a girl who's having a hard time with her computer. And your friend asks you, oh, what should she do? And then you say, well, she could try and fix it herself. So you see how could is used here. She could try. In the next example, let's think about a situation where you're just talking to your friend about plans tonight, of what you're going to do tonight. So you could suggest, well, we could go to a movie tonight if you're interested. Again, it's could. All right? Next, we're going to look at making a request. And this is really about who you're making the request to. So in the example, let's say you're with your family and you're eating somewhere. You could ask, can you pass me a piece of bread? You wouldn't have to say please, but it's nice to say please. But usually with a casual situation, you would just say, can you pass me a piece of bread? And on the other hand, if you're in a formal situation, let's say with people that you're not close with, you would say, could you pass me a piece of bread, please? That's the most polite way to say it. And of course, you add please on the end. In the next example, we can see this through, let's say, a situation where you're calling up somebody that you know, and you call up their family. You get on the phone and you say, oh, can I speak to Gerard? You wouldn't necessarily have to put please in there, but it's always good to put please in there. So you would use can. On the other hand, if you were calling up, let's say, a stranger, or you're in a formal situation where you're not close to the people, you would say, could I speak to Gerard, please? This is the most polite way to say it, so to make this request. So you can really see now when to use can and when to use could when making a request. Now we're going to look at making offers with can and could, and I hope you're beginning to see the pattern here with can and could. Can is used for an informal situation, and could is used for a formal situation. So let's say you're at home, your friend comes over to your house, and you say, can I get you something to drink? We would use can. On the other hand, if let's say you go out to eat somewhere, the waiter or waitress would say, could I get you something to drink? And you can see this same pattern in the next example. Let's say you're helping your friend. You would say, can I carry your bags for you? Or in a formal situation, let's say you're at a hotel and the porter might ask you, could I carry your bags for you? And to be more polite, they might say, madam, or they might say, sir. And finally, we're looking at asking permission. And in the first example, this is maybe you're asking your friend for his or her pen. So you would say, can I borrow your pen? And let's say you're somewhere and you don't know the person very well. You would say, could I borrow your pen, please? In the next example, we have a similar situation. You're asking for something to drink. So you're at your friend's house. Can I have something to drink? Again, you would maybe say please. I would say please. And again, in a formal situation, you would say, could I have something to drink, please? Okay, that's all for this video on can and could. You can take a look at the summary and review the video again. And I hope it helped you. And I'll see you next time. We're going to do more modals and much, much more. So remember, keep practicing.